What is going on, guys? We are back here with another patch 9.2.5 video. In today's video, we are going to be going over the upcoming Mythic Plus dungeon nerfs. They're actually hot fixes, so they are already in the game, but we're going to be discussing them, reacting to them, you know, saying why they're good, why they're bad, if they are bad, just all those general things. But yeah, let's get into it. So, as we can see from the title here, it is Sanguine Depths, Theater of Pain, and Necrotic Wake is in here as well. It's just a smaller nerf. It's not the biggest of nerfs. But yeah, let's go. All right. So hello everyone. We've recently deployed a hotfix that adjusts the difficulty of several dungeon encounters. Here are the changes. This is good. This is good. Blizzard is finally changing the dungeons after 3 seasons of Mythic Plus. This should have happened in Season 1, a lot of these changes, but we'll get into that afterwards. But first change, Necrotic Wake. Now Thor the Rhyme Bender. This is the final boss of Necrotic Wake. Icebound Aegis Absorb reduced by 20% on Mythic difficulty. If you don't know what this is, basically whenever he hits 100 energy, he will get a shield on him that is 5%, about 5% of his health, right, in keys. That's really bad, considering the fact that yes, it's an absorb, but if you really think about it, he's healing for 5%, maybe like 7% of his health every 15, 20, 30 seconds, right? So the way you played around this as you went up in keys is to just save every weapon for the shields. If you watch, you know, JPC stream or now or the Echo Boys, you know, pushing keys, when they get to this final boss, especially on Tyrannical, they're using a spear on every single shield, they're using a hammer on every single shield, they're using an orb on every single shield, just because they need to break it because it does do a lot of damage the longer it stays up. Now, this is a great change because obviously it means the shield is going to be up a lot less, and you may, I can't say for certain, but you may be allowed to use some weapons in other places in the dungeon. I know for most groups, at least in the pugs that I'm doing, you use a spear on the third boss already, but now you might be able to use a hammer on the third boss or an orb or whatever because that boss is very annoying, whereas this boss was so annoying that you could just wipe, right? With 1 DPS gone for majority of the fight, you could just straight up wipe because you can't break the shield, and the encounter can last 5 to 6 minutes, so this is a great change. Sanguine Depths, Executor Torvald. His castigate damage is reduced by 20%. This is the targeted ability that he does, where he'll shoot he'll shoot a line at you, and it'll like pulsate and do damage around you. This is a great change because honestly, this just one shots people sometimes, right? If you aren't using a defensive, if you're not using healer CDs or anything like that, this at high enough key levels will just straight up kill you, right? When you're in like the 15 level, this ability is annoying as well. It does do an insane amount of damage, and sometimes people just aren't ready for it. So this is a very good change to have. And I'm glad this got nerfed. I really hope they think about nerfing the add damage, because that honestly is the biggest issue in lower keys. I know for the highest of high keys, castigate damage is obviously a reason why they fail, because people will just die to it. Like if a hunter gets picked with it without turtle or feign death or whatever, they just die. Anyway, good change. I love to see damage reduction taken off the Sanguine Depths bosses because they are the worst bosses in terms of just killing you outright. Now we have Grand Proctor Berlia. I don't know how to say the name. Who cares? Third boss of Sanguine Depths. Agonize damage reduced by 20%. Now I'm going to go figure out what this ability is real quick. So Agonize is, I guess, just I don't know what this ability is because I don't ever deal with it as a tank, but it is basically just it just targets a player and just does damage over 6 seconds. So they're just reducing a lot of the undodgeable or undodgeable damage in these dungeons, which is really, really good, right? Like, you can't outplay this without using an immunity, which is a great thing. Always good to reduce these things so you're not as punished, right? Just for you can't even do the mechanic correctly, you're not as punished. That's a good change. And then they fixed an issue causing some abilities to scale with fortified affix instead of tyrannical affix. I want to know what that is. If that's the big burst of damage, I'm gonna cry, because on Tyrannical that's gonna hurt even more where it hurt before. But yeah, Spires of Ascension. This is a good one. This is a good one. The 3 Shadows of Zul's, I'm not gonna say their name. Clutos, Laxus, and Astronos. Who cares? I don't know. I don't care what their names are. Whatever. Health reduced by 20%. Great change. These guys took way too long to kill on Fortified, and they did way too much damage. Now, the Aura of Intimidation, I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd ad's ability. Let me look this up. Yep, so this is the 3rd ad's ability. It's the ad that you would spear to kill. Its damage is reduced by 20%. This is great. I make the reference Shadow of Zul because in King's Rest dungeon back in BFA, you, on Fortified weeks, on high enough, you would want to like lust and use all your cooldowns on the ad before the final boss called the Shadow of Zul, because it just killed your tank. It did so much damage. So this is good to see that these are finally getting nerfed, because they were very annoying to deal with, though. Like, once you got to the higher keys, you're basically using lust, you're using spear, using every single offensive cooldown you have to kill them, at least the 3rd one. So it's just good to see that it is finally nerfed. Theater of Pain, Zave the Unfallen. His Seismic Leap damage reduced by 10%. This is good, right? I forgot to mention, this is unavoidable damage here other than through an immunity. And this is also unavoidable damage other through an immunity. So it looks like they are targeting a lot of the abilities that have, you can't, like, they're unavoidable damage abilities. This would just straight up kill. Like, this ability alone on a high enough Tyrannical would do 90% of people's health. If you watch anyone pushing keys this week, because it is a Tyrannical week, even last week when, you know, you watched the Echo Boys do their 31, I think they did a 31 Theater of Pain. Like, this was like one-shotting them, almost, right? Like, you had to use a defensive every single time, otherwise you would die. So this is a great change, just reducing the overall damage of the dungeon. I would like to have seen Cold the Rock get a damage reduction on his dot that he gets put on. Yes, it's dispellable, but if your healer is dispelling the wrong target, right, people easily die from that ability. And once you get to the 22s, 23s, 24s, if they're not using an offensive or being just spam healed, they will die. So I hope that gets changed in the future. But honestly, these are all great changes. I'm glad to see them implemented into the game. I hope they nerf some more things. Though a lot of these changes are late, I would have liked to see all of these in Season 1, not in Season 3, when these dungeons are literally going away in 2 months, and we'll never see them again. Like, we're not doing any of these dungeons again. But yeah, that'll be the end of the video. I think the changes are obviously very, very good. No bad changes, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.